Hello everyone. Welcome, welcome. For those of you who are just popping in, hello. And for those of you who are going to stay and join in on this chair yoga practice, just know that you can really use any chair that you have. I'm going to use certain props, but I really want to encourage you to get as creative as you can with what you have. And when we do this, this is just already acknowledging that our bodies are so different, our needs are different, and yoga really asks us to meet ourselves where we are and to support our unique selves. So what is it that you need? What props do you need? Before you even look at what I have, think about what it is that you need. And go ahead and get that and bring it into your space. Otherwise, right, just a chair, maybe nothing else. Maybe that's just it. And just know that if it feels right for you to sit and breathe with us, that's okay. Maybe you're just watching to get an idea of what this is about. That's okay too. And feel free to let me know how you're doing in the comment box. How are you doing today? How are you showing up to your practice? How do you feel today? Hello everybody. Those of you who are just joining, hello, hello. We've got just a couple more minutes here. Go ahead and grab whatever props it is. That you think you need. Hello everybody, hi Erin. Hi Jess, how's Sandy? Jean, Eric, if you guys are all still watching, hello. Okay, let me close this. Okay, so it's about 2 o'clock. We're about there. If you're just getting settled, no rush, take your time. Just turn this down a little. Okay. Here we are. Here we are. Before we dive into our practice today, let's talk about staying cool. You know, honestly, I haven't even gone outside today. It's not the greatest thing. There was something that it was so hot yesterday that I'm keeping cool inside too, Kim. So let's just talk about props a little bit. Chair yoga, you can have a chair. Use what you have. I always say try not to think too much about what you don't have and really focus on getting creative with what you do have. I just have like a kitchen chair here. Maybe you have something different. I tend to use like a small pillow to support my low back, and I'll show you a little bit more of that later. And I tend to like to drape a blanket, or maybe you have a towel or a sweater over the back. Just it gives a little padding to the spine when it's nice to sit back. I've also seen people put a blanket, or maybe you have like a cushion that you sit on to just make the seat a little softer. Maybe your chair already has a cushion. And I just have a couple extra blankets around, not for any purpose other than when I'm in poses, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll need a little extra height. Maybe I want the floor to rise up to my feet. And I also have like this little weighted prop here. It's just actually my sister made this. It's just rice. Very easy to make at home. Maybe we can talk about that afterwards, but I just love it because it's a little bit heavy and it's nice to put on my lap. Sometimes a nice weighted sensation feels really nice. And I've heard that other people feel the same. So again, we can talk a little bit more about that if that feels right for you guys. But other than that, you just need yourself. All you need is you. I'm gonna start today's class by reading a little bit of the book. It's called The Endless Practice, Becoming Who You Were Born to Be by Mark Nepo. He's one of my favorite authors. For those of you that have followed me or taken some of my other classes, you know that I love all of his books, the Book of Awakening, but this one is equally as beautiful. And this little bit here is called Though Sometimes We Fail. And he says, chasing paradise keeps us from living here in paradise. Sometimes we don't realize that there is nothing to be done until we have tried everything. I don't think this means that we've failed, though sometimes we do fail. I think it means that we've been thorough in our humanness. And it's only through our humanness that we can meet difficulty, stay vulnerable, and be completed by all that is not us. Only by inhabiting our humanness fully can we know our core. And so know the core of all things. Only by meeting life completely in all its entanglements can we find our way back to the aliveness we all need in order to go on. I love this. Permission to be human. No need to be perfect here. Maybe we can carry this with us throughout our practice today, to allow ourselves to be human, to allow the emotions, the thoughts, the physical sensations to just be what they are. No judgments, right? Can we just be? Can we acknowledge that we are enough without doing or saying or completing something? I'll practice that with you. All right, so let's go ahead and come on into the chair. Thank you, Sandy. So go ahead and come on into the chair. Again, I like to have my back, my low back, supported by a prop. And what this does is it helps to keep the low back nice and supported so that I don't have this tendency when it's away, I would kind of do this. So this little prop, and again, it could just be a little pillow. Maybe it is a folded blanket. And I've actually seen people get really creative. And they've used harder or firmer objects like a water bottle, you know, behind them. This actually feels a little nicer than the pillow. I think I might leave it. And then again, this blanket over the top just to give a little extra padding. And now check in with your feet, right? Do your feet touch the ground, right? If you have shorter legs, your feet might hover. And in that case, you may want a pillow or a couple blankets underneath you so that your feet can feel nice and grounded to the earth. Okay. So this class is an offering of Toivo, an initiative of Advocacy Unlimited, and I'm going to encourage you to take what you need and leave the rest. You know your body best. We all have a different relationship with our nervous system, with our breath, with our physical body. You may have experienced injuries. You're going to take care of yourself because you know what you need best. Also be mindful that as we practice, all kinds of emotions can rise and fall. And the practice of yoga tells us that we can learn to breathe, to start to find a little less rigidity in how we move through those fluctuations, right? By coming back to the breath and just allowing those fluctuations to rise and fall. And yoga tells us that everything around us is always fluctuating, and we get to kind of navigate our way through. So whatever rises for you, know that it's okay, right? We're coming back to letting ourselves be human. And if you need a little extra support when class is over, feel free to reach out through the comment box or to reach out through the messenger. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and take a moment to ground down to start our practice. So maybe for you, you sit back a little heavier into your chair. Maybe your eyes close. And maybe the eyes closed doesn't feel comfortable for you. So maybe you want to leave the eyes open. If they're open, see if you can just soften the gaze a little bit. Let's just soften the eyelids and find one spot to focus on. So the eyes are not moving all around, but focusing on one spot, reminding the mind and the rest of the body that we are starting to settle now, and that it's safe enough to do so. So wherever you are, eyes closed or open, start to notice where your body touches the ground. Now, there are no trick questions here, so where does your body touch the ground? Maybe you let the feet kind of wiggle into the ground a little bit, in the way that a cat kind of needs a blanket. Maybe you spread your toes and let them kind of grip back into the ground. Just feel into that connection. I have shared many times in many of my classes that I spent a lot of my life feeling like a floating balloon, not really grounded, not really attached to my physical space, just kind of out in the ether, not really connected to what I was feeling in my physical body. And so this is so important to just take time to feel where our body touches the ground. And then start to just notice the sounds around you. What do you hear in your space? You may notice sounds that are far away. You may notice sounds that are more directly in your space. And maybe here you begin to notice judgments, maybe sounds that you have categorized as welcome, and sounds that you are like, I wish that would stop. But again, we're gonna let the humanness of the moment, right? And highlight that humanness and let it be what it is. Just noticing versus judging. And that's a whole practice in itself. Now start to notice your breath. How are you breathing today as you start to settle into your practice? You don't have to change it, but start to notice just how it feels. Maybe your breath is a little shallow or constricted in this moment. And just notice, where does it feel tight? Where does it feel like it's moving freely? Are there qualities of your breath that you can notice? Is there a taste or a texture or a temperature as you breathe in and temperature as you breathe out? Is one of your nostrils stuffy? And this checking in may seem slow, it may seem like we're not doing much, but we're getting our baseline We're figuring out where we have started so that when we make our way through the practice and at the end of practice, we can check back in and really take note, was my practice beneficial? And then we can adjust accordingly. We want to really be purposeful and intentional in our practice. Now when you're ready, we're going to start to come into a 3-part breath. So bring one hand to your chest, one hand to the belly. You may want to sit up a little more, especially if you've started rounding. See if you can stack your shoulders over your hips. Let the top of the head reach up nice and tall. And breathe in, draw the breath, fill the belly. Belly expands, ribs expand, chest lifts. And as you exhale, navel gently draws in and up, ribs deflate, chest drops down. You'll inhale fully. Exhale completely. Keep going, breathing in, breathing out. And maybe you're breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. If that's not accessible, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Whatever feels right. Full deep breaths though. See if you can take in as much air as you can. Let out every last drop. And the exhale, I have been taught, is associated with grounding. So the more we can let out every last bit of breath, we're going to settle ourselves down into a deeper sense of connection with our physical body and with the earth. When we breathe shallow, there can become a buildup of these toxins in the gut that make us feel lethargic. So we want to let those out. Take a few more breaths there, breathing in nice and full. Breathing out. And just noticing how that feels. Sometimes a full deep breath doesn't feel comfortable. And so just notice that. Let your humanness shine there. That's okay. It's a practice. Slow and steady. We start to deepen the breath. Okay. We'll start to come into a counting breath now. You're going to start to inhale for the count of 4. You're going to hold for the count of 7, and then you're going to exhale out nice and long for the count of 8. This is currently my favorite breath practice. In for 4, hold for 7, out for 8, right? And that's just a spectrum, right? That 0 to 7, that 0 to 4, 0 to 8. So if you need to adjust, do it. But that's where we're working our way towards. In for 4, hold for 7, exhale out nice and long for the count of 8. You'll notice again we're encouraging this longer exhale. Releasing those toxins from deep within the belly. Take a few rounds. 4, 7, 8. And if you need a break or that doesn't feel right, come back to what does. Maybe just a slow, steady breath or that 3-part breath. Beautiful. Take one more round wherever you are. Wonderful. Go ahead and let your breath come back to a natural, rhythmic flow now. And I'll invite you to draw your hands to heart center. If this doesn't feel right, just leave your hands down on your lap. With the hands to heart center, the fingertips gently press, the palms gently press. Maybe you gently lift the elbows, sit up a little taller out of your seat. Take a deep breath. And we'll take a moment here to set an intention for our practice. What are you going to dedicate this practice to? I'll offer you the intention of allowing yourself to be human, to celebrate your human experience, whatever that means for you. Progress, experience over perfection, knowing that we are worthy without producing, creating, or doing anything really. Just breathing is enough, because we are enough. Maybe there's something else on your mind or heart today. And know that whatever it is that you hope for yourself, I hope it for you too. And we'll seal that intention. Take a deep breath in. And out. Beautiful. Let's do one more of those, and I'm going to ask you to really let out your sighs, especially in the comfort of your own home. Let out those sounds. Let out some sound from the throat, right? So we'll breathe in. Yeah, nice. Usually, if it feels weird, you're probably doing it right. All right, let's find a little movement in the shoulders. Up to the ears, back and down. Start really small, maybe you get a little bit bigger. Nothing to force. I don't know about you, but I've got some pops and creaks happening. And again, we'll allow that human experience to be what it is. Maybe take some rolls forward now, up, back, and down. And again, just notice if you've started rounding, right? Because this is going to be different sensation for the shoulders than if you're sitting up tall and finding movement there. Okay? You want to keep the shoulder nice and open. Beautiful. Go ahead and just extend your left arm out. You're going to draw your fingertips gently towards your shoulder and just press out. Sit up nice and tall. Reach up through the crown of the head. Take a deep breath. And then let your fingertips point down. Yeah. Kind of reach out through the top of the wrist. One more breath. And then circle the wrist. Circle that left wrist. I got all kinds of pops and creaks for you today. Especially if you've been on the computer a lot, this might feel really nice. Or it might feel however it feels for you. Let your human experience be what it is. I'm just a guide. I'm just guiding you here. Reverse that circle if you haven't. Okay, and now let that arm come up above the head. Now whenever the fingertips reach up, let your shoulder move with it. So reach up. And then draw the shoulder back down. Let the fingertips come back down. Put a little bend in that elbow. Okay, we're going to inhale and reach up. Let the shoulder lift. And you might notice that it kind of turns towards the heart there, and that's okay. Press up. And then bend. Press up. Bend. Nice. Bring your left hand to the top of your shoulder. Circles. Like you're drawing on the wall with a pencil on your elbow. Nice. And this might be quite intense for you, so if you can't reach all the way, that's okay. And maybe you just want to leave the arm straight out. Okay. And then come forward. Perfect. And one more time back, and let that hand come down. Very nice. Let's come to the other side. You're gonna let the arm come out to the side. You're gonna gently draw the fingertips towards the shoulder, and you're gonna press out through the palm of the hand, sit up nice and tall, press your feet to the ground, crown of the head reaching, deep breath. Beautiful. When you're ready, let the fingertips point down. Yeah. Kind of reach out through the top of the wrist. Open shoulders. Crown of the head reaching. Feel your feet to the ground. Deep breath. Beautiful. Now roll out that wrist. Just roll in one direction and the other. Very nice. Go ahead and let the arm reach up. Fingertips reach. You're going to let the shoulder blade move up towards the fingertips. And then as you exhale, bend the elbow, come back down. Reach up. Bend. Reach up. Let the shoulder lift. And back down. Beautiful. Take the hand to the top of the shoulder, or, wherever you are on that spectrum. Roll back. Very nice. Deep breaths. And then let that breath just settle into a rhythmic flow. Beautiful. Maybe a couple rolls forward. Maybe you notice a difference between your left and your right shoulder. And then one more time back. And let the hand come down. Let's take both arms up now. Let your shoulders reach towards your ears. Reach up through the fingertips. Deep breath. Bend the elbows. Reach up. You're going to let the shoulders lift up. Exhale. One more. Reach up. And exhale. Beautiful. Take your forearms together. And so notice you might have the elbows low, and that's okay. You may notice that it feels a little better for you, or you want a little more sensation, so you're going to see if you can bring them in line with your shoulder. Maybe you want to lift a little higher, a little more sensation. So where are you? No right or wrong, right? Human. Just let ourselves be human. Interlace your hands, circle out your wrists. I've been doing a lot of housework, so this feels quite intense in my shoulders. So notice how it feels for you. Does it feel like work? Does it feel like a release? Beautiful. And when you're ready, take the hands down. Take your hands to the tops of the thighs, press the chest forward. Exhale, round your spine, drop your head. I'll just turn to the side so you can see me. Inhale, press forward, chest presses forward, shoulders squeeze behind the back, reach up. Maybe the gaze looks up just a little. And exhale, really round, sink back, drop the head. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Beautiful. Come back up into center. We're going to find little circles now. So you're going to start to stir the pot here. And here, see if you can let both of your sitting bones really connect to the chair. So if you've noticed that you've started to lift one hip or the other, see if you can come back, let them root down, press your feet a little bit into the ground, and then find a circle. Just in one direction. Doesn't matter which one, we'll make our way to both. Alright, so find that circle from your solid base, right? It's a different sensation to let the hips come up. When we plant the hips, we kind of get this length in the side body, this nice stretch. We get the spine, the base of the spine, to find a little of that rotation, that movement. Okay. And then reverse your direction wherever you are. And just notice if you've started to hold your breath. Okay. And if you're holding your breath, maybe take a couple big deep breaths and then allow the breath to come back to that really natural rhythmic flow, just a gentle stream of breath in and out. Nothing to force. This is really good for digestion. Kind of moving all the internal organs around. Okay, beautiful. And we'll come back up to center. Let's take our left hand to the base of the chair. For some of you, you may just want it to just kind of hang there, or you can really grab onto the chair. It'll depend on how long your arm is and the kind of chair that you have. So again, get creative and nothing to judge. We're gonna celebrate our humanness in all of its diversity and uniqueness. We're gonna let our opposite arm, the right arm, reach up and over. And again, as the fingertips reach, you're letting the shoulder move towards the fingertips. So in this case, towards the ears. Up and over. Right? And you're just gonna use my shape, my body as a reference. You may be here. Maybe the arm doesn't want to lift as high, and you're just up and over with the torso. How can you support yourself? Notice your head, right? It'll be different if you drop the head down than if you let the crown of the head reach long. There's not one right or wrong, but just notice where you are. And then go ahead and come back up into center. We'll come to the other side, grip the chair. Up and over. And just notice here, if you start to roll the shoulder forward, that will be a different sensation than keeping the shoulder over the hip and really getting in a nice stretch into the side of the body. And sometimes in an effort to make it seem like we're going deeper into the pose, we sacrifice other parts of the body. And yoga really encourages us, the practice encourages us to stay in integrity and take things slow. Right, the Yoga Sutras tell us, of Patanjali tell us that the benefits of yoga are obtained through a dedicated practice over a long period of time. Go ahead and come back up. Right, so it's just a lot of practice. Practice, dedication, focus. Roll your shoulders. We can definitely experience benefits in one class, but right, to create lasting change and to really begin to rewire, you have to really stick to it. Stay dedicated, daily practice. 5 minutes a day sometimes, right? I think that's enough. Okay, let the shoulders come down. Go ahead and lift up your left foot, roll out that left ankle. Check the time here. Roll out that left ankle. Bend and straighten at the knee, just kind of warming up the legs. Keep this out of the way. Okay. You can go ahead and lift the left leg, put a little bend in the knee, gently draw your toes towards the knee. You can always support underneath the leg here. And if you don't reach and you have like a towel, you can, or a belt or tie, you can put it under the leg. Just hold it here for a moment. And maybe you want a little more work, so maybe you just take the hands down to the side and you let the leg stay there on its own. Take a deep breath. See if you can create little circles. Other direction. And come back down. Let's come to the other side. Just lift that right leg, roll out the ankle. There's my pops and creaks for you. here's the beautiful thing, right? I let myself be human. And when I'm vulnerable in my humanness, I give permission to other people to do the same. How beautiful is that? We speak our truth and we allow other people to do the same. We let other people be human by living our human experience, sharing our vulnerabilities, our fears, the things that we struggle with. Okay. Bend and straighten at the knee. And then maybe you lift the leg. You're gonna let both sitting bones stay rooted. And it doesn't have to be high, right? This is just how high my leg wants to go, but maybe you're a little lower, maybe it's a little higher, maybe it's even higher than mine. Gently draw the toes towards the knee. Maybe you support the leg with the hands. And just take a couple deep breaths. See if you can sit up nice and tall. You can gently feel your opposite foot, that left foot, really planted into the ground, and then see if you can take a little circle. I kind of like to take my hand to the top of my knee and just kind of guide it there in that circle. And you might notice that one side feels a little different than the other. For me, this side just feels a little weaker. It's more tired. Reverse. Okay, and let the leg come back down. Nice. Let's take a twist. Let our arms reach up high. Palms can touch or not. And as you exhale, take the twist to the left. I have a really high back on my chair, so it's better for me to take my hand in front of it. If you're taller or the chair isn't as high, you can take your hand all the way back behind it. Take a deep breath here. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale, we'll come back to center. Exhale, other side. And the gaze can look forward, to the front, or even back to that right shoulder. And then we'll find a flow. Center, twist. Center, twist. Center, twist. Center, reach up, shoulders lift too. Exhale, twist. Just a few more. Rise, fall. Rise, fall. One more. Rise, fall. Rise, fall. Come back to center. Hands to heart center. Ah, beautiful. Go ahead and take your legs a little bit wide now. We'll come into like a seated wide leg. This is kind of like a seated goddess pose, right? So you have your knees over your ankles if you can. It's just where we're working towards. Maybe you won't get there, and that's okay. We'll take our left hand down the inside of the left leg. So you're just kind of gently sliding it down, and maybe you're up a little higher, and that's okay. Maybe you slide down a little farther. This is quite a bit of a stretch here, and you'll start to notice that the right side of your body turns to the side, and then that left arm is going to reach up. So it's wide leg, a little twist here. Where can you put your gaze so that the neck feels long and comfortable? Take a deep breath. And go ahead and come back up. Beautiful. Other side, left hand slides down the left leg. You'll start to notice that the body starts to turn, left side of the body to the left leg, and your right arm reaches up. Deep breath. Feel your feet to the ground. If you need to press the feet into the ground a little bit, do that. Build that connection back up to the earth. Feel how supported you are. Beautiful. Come back to center. Press your heels into the ground here. Press them down. Even let your toes lift for a second. You might have to sit back a little into the chair, but press the heels down. Take a deep breath. And then relax. Take the legs back in. cat and cow, hands to thighs. Inhale, press forward. Exhale, round. Inhale, forward. Exhale, round. One more. Inhale, forward. Exhale, round. Beautiful. Come back up to center. Very nice. We're going to come into stand now. Come to standing. And so just come right behind the chair. We'll move this so you can see a little better. All right. So take your hands to the chair for a little bit of stability. Go ahead and put your weight onto your right foot. There's a micro bend in that right leg, right? You want to lock the knee out, a little micro bend. Sit up nice, stand up nice and tall, reach up through the crown of the head. See if you can open your heart a little bit more. And by that I mean if you're rounding, right, opening the heart is drawing the shoulders back behind the heart. Sitting up nice and tall. I know in my own body that I spent so much time kind of hunched over. When I sit up straight, it feels very over-exaggerated, but in reality, it's not, right? It's just kind of bringing our body back to that integrity, okay? So again, shifting your weight to the right, and now go ahead and take your left foot off the ground, okay? So maybe you're just kickstanding, or maybe it starts to come out to the side. And what we'll do here is we'll just come out to the side as we inhale, and exhale, come back. Lift, lower, lift, and lower. Now remember that this is a whole spectrum, right? This whole V shape that I'm taking is a spectrum of movement. So maybe you are only at 20%. Maybe you're at 80%, right? Maybe you're at 100% of your range of motion, and that's okay. But you're gonna let it be what it is for you without the judgment or the I should or I could. Can you just let it be what it is? Right? Meet yourself really compassionately. Because really, these become quite a bit of work after a while. And the more we do them with integrity rather than pushing ourselves, we're gonna just create this nice stable base for us to continue to practice yoga till we are 100. This is yoga for longevity, right? Okay, let's do about 5 more. If you need a break, take a break. Okay, and slowly come back down. I was starting to get a little shaky there. And so know that shaking is okay as long as you can breathe. Okay, so shaking is usually just a sign that the muscles are starting to work. I have experienced maybe shaking as a way to release emotions or trauma. But as long as you can breathe, right? You can let the breath be a guide. If you're shaking and you can't breathe, you're going to want to stop, right? Let the breath guide you into coming back. Something a little more gentle in the physical body so that you can find that full deep breath again and then figure out where you want to go with your movement from there. Okay, let's come to the other side. Left foot plants. And again, just like you did on the other side, just notice your range of motion and let this side be different than the other, right? Especially if you've had injury in one side compared to the other, right? You wouldn't expect one hip that maybe you've had a hip replacement, you wouldn't expect that leg to perform the same as the other side. Maybe if you had a knee injury or something with your ankle, right? Just be really gentle. Can you link the movement with your breath? Inhaling, lifting, exhaling, lowering. Sometimes it's easier to go faster, right? It's a little more work to go slow and controlled. Let's do about 5 more. and just see how you feel now, both feet to the ground. A deep breath maybe. Perfect. Okay, so stay right where you are. Hands to the chair. Now we're going to take the left leg back and kind of point the toes as you reach back. Your front leg is straight, but again, there's a difference between locking out the leg and keeping a little micro bend. You always want a micro bend there. This is actually going to encourage the muscles around the joint to engage. Right? I'm not just hanging out in those joints. Okay, now you can stay right here. Maybe this is enough. A little more sensation, you can lift. And it's really small. Squeeze the glute. Lift up. See if you can stay up nice and tall, right? We have a tendency to arch here. Okay, lift, squeeze the glute. Squeeze. Squeeze. Breathe. And if you need a break, take a break. About 5 more. Perfect. You might notice that the other leg's kind of tired now. I'm going to turn my chair just so that you can see the other side, but you'll stay right where you are. And now we'll extend right leg back. Okay. Get really stable in your front leg, right? Strong muscles. The muscles hug the bone. And then when you're ready, if it feels right, you will lift. Squeeze that glute. Squeeze. You might notice, like here, it feels better to have the chair pushed out a little more in front of me, which I didn't quite get on the other side. So really, right, just to show that, make your adjustments. You might notice that the leg wants to turn out. The body is very good at knowing the easy way out. See if you can keep your heel kind of pressing back. Right, the thigh is almost internally rotating. Let's do about 5 more. Perfect. Go ahead and take the legs wide. Okay, and then come into a little squat here. Okay, so very small. Doesn't have to be, right, a deep squat, right? You can have it just a little bit. And come down only as what feels right for you, but really press your heels into the ground. Press the heels down, really active in the legs. Reach up through the crown of the head, take a deep breath. Lift the toes, press the heels. We're really working here, take a deep breath. 1 more, press those heels down and out. And then start to straighten the legs, rise back up. Ooh, very nice. Go ahead and walk the feet back in. Go ahead and step the left leg back. Put a little a bend in the front knee now. So now we're in this runner's lunge. Okay. And so the shorter the stance, less sensation. The greater the stance, more sensation. So what do you need, right? What is it that you'd like for yourself in this moment? Okay. And maybe your arms stay here. Maybe one arm rises. Maybe it feels good to let both arms rise. There's not one that's better than the other. That's just the options, the variations. Okay, take a deep breath. Can you let your weight sink into that back heel? Give that calf a stretch. Deep breath. And when you're ready, you're going to step the back leg forward, come to the other side. Again, this side might be totally different. use the chair to support you here, right? Your stance might be much smaller. That's okay. Give yourself permission to be human, that beautiful human that you are. Take a deep breath. Press back through that back heel. Deep breath. Arms can stay low or they can lift. Beautiful. Now when you're ready, step the back foot forward just for a moment. Step left foot back, right foot back. Start to drop the chest down. I'm going to scoot my chair forward here, and you're going to drop your chest forward. This is my favorite chair yoga pose. Now gently press the tops of your hands into the chair. And again, you might not be as low, you might be up a little higher. Okay. Press the hands down into the chair. You might feel an engagement then, now in the shoulders a little bit more, as opposed to just kind of hanging out in the joints. Now we're working, we're getting this activated stretch here. And while you're here, press your feet down and out. Down and out. Okay? Maybe you sit back a little bit into the hips. Deep breath. And when you're ready, slowly come up. Walk the hands in. Very nice. Go ahead and take your seat. Come back into your seat. Beautiful. And take your time to make yourself comfortable in your seat again. Okay. So for a moment, just come back to stillness, this seated Tadasana pose. Feet touching the ground. Maybe you need the blankets or the pillows underneath to let the ground rise up to your feet. Sitting up nice and tall, reaching up through the crown of the head. Maybe you even take the hands down to the sides. Let the palms face forward. Take a deep breath. One more. Beautiful. When you're ready, let your arms rise, reach up. As you exhale, let the palms come down through the center like you're pressing air down through the center. As we inhale, we'll rise. Down through center with the exhale. Inhale, arms rise. And down through the center. Rise. Can you feel your hands moving through the air? The energy from the hands. Rise. And fall. A few more. Rise. Last one. And take the hands down. Sit yourself back nice and heavy now into our final resting pose. And here, feel free to, maybe you lay down now. Maybe you have access to the floor and you want to lay flat on your back. You can always lay on the ground and take your feet up the chair. Right? Your feet will come up as you lay yourself back. Maybe you just have a couple extra props. A pillow under the feet for a little extra cushion, maybe a blanket or a pillow or your weighted prop on your lap. blanket or towel or weight on the shoulders. And let the hands rest wherever they can be the most comfortable. Where can they relax? And as you settle here, let's take 3 deep breaths. And then let your breath start to settle into a very natural, rhythmic flow. Nothing to force in or out now. Nothing to force in or out now. Relax the toes, the bottoms and the tops of the feet, ankles, shins, calves, knees, thighs, hips, glutes, belly. Let your belly relax here. See if with every breath you can allow the body to soften just a little bit more. Ribs and chest, low back, mid back, upper back. Arms, hands, fingers, throat, jaw, tongue, cheeks, and eyes. Back of the head and top of the head. The whole body. The whole body. And here you can let your mind settle on an affirmation. As you inhale, you'll say to yourself, I am. And as you exhale, enough. Inhale, I am. Exhale, enough. Mark Nepo says, the practice of being a spirit in a body in the world is a practice of returning to our center where we can know the world fully. Returning to center is a form of saying yes to life. My friends, in this moment, I encourage you to just ask yourself, what is one way that you return to your center? Maybe it's your yoga practice. Maybe it's the way you drink a cup of tea in the morning. Maybe it's spending time with a certain person or sitting yourself by water. What is it that returns you back to your center? And just for a moment, just visualize yourself doing that. Allow yourself to be there for a moment. In touch with the center of who you are. A yes to life. A simple but powerful yes. Take just a few more breaths there. My friends, I encourage you to stay there as long as it feels right. Or when you're ready, start to deepen your breath. Maybe flutter the eyes open and find little movements in the wrists, the fingers, the toes, and the ankles. We will close our practice by drawing our hands to heart center. Maybe the hands stay right where they are. What feels right for you? We'll take a moment to honor all of the teachers who have come before us, who have carved this path, who have shared the wisdom. Know that I am honored to be your teacher, and more so, I am eternally grateful to be your student. Thank you so much for joining me in practice today. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope this provided a little bit of peace, calm, connection, strength, flexibility. I hope it provided just a moment for you guys to come back to yourself. Let me know how you feel. If you have any questions, even if you're watching this video at a later date, feel free to reach out in the comments or reach out through Facebook Messenger. I am around. I would love to connect with you. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, a great week. Check the Toivo website, the Toivo Facebook. We have lots of amazing offerings online coming up this week and for the rest of the month. I'm personally offering a sound healing this Saturday evening from 6 to 7. It's called Rise Up. It's going to be a moment to tap into sound as a way to use sound to tap into our ability to really rise up into our authentic self. And so I hope to have you there. And again, I will see you all soon. Thank you, Jess. So happy to have you practice. All right, everyone, I will see you soon. Yoga with Leslie tomorrow. We have bilingual yoga coming up in August, yoga in Spanish coming up, lots of opportunities for yoga. We have chair yoga every Wednesday. So hopefully we'll see you around soon. Bye.